In this video, I'm going to talk about why I sold my Apple Watch and why you may or may not want to buy one. So let's get right into it. First of all, I replaced my Apple Watch with a gshock. It's a gshock Square. It's a, what is it? GWB5600. These are the same shape, same size as the original G-Shock Squares. There's various levels of these. This one is the newest iteration of the G-Shock Square at the moment. It's still the plastic version, they make metal ones too. This one can connect to your phone via Bluetooth to sync the time, and absolute timekeeping is the main reason I wanted an Apple Watch, because it would just always be in sync with my phone. Now I have that feature here, and so that's one of the reasons that I decided I could sell my Apple Watch. Is other watches now have a bit of the capabilities that the Apple Watch gave me. The most pressing issue, the worst thing about the Apple Watch that I could find is that the technology, the hardware, is just not mature enough yet, and the software is even less mature. That doesn't mean it's bad, but developers don't really seem to know what to do with the hardware, and Apple just hasn't made hardware that's good enough yet, in my opinion. And the biggest drawback for me is the battery life. You have to charge your Apple Watch at least every other day, if you use it at all. I was okay with that at first, but after a while it just gets tiring. I don't want to have to worry about charging my watch. This watch, and most others, will last years, and you don't have to worry about charging it. This one's solar, so I don't have to worry about replacing the battery or charging it for at least 10 years. And some watches will last about 10 years, even if they're not solar or anything. Another issue I had with the Apple Watch in particular is the fact that it's just really fragile for a watch. This is not a problem for a lot of people, but I often come into contact with situations where my watch might get damaged, and I don't really care if this gets scratched up or beat up or whatever, because I know it's not going to hurt it. The Apple Watch, on the other hand, is pretty fragile. I scratched my screen just when my watch just touched the glass of my car window, which is just, that's too fragile for me. I don't want to have to worry about my watch breaking, ever. Another thing that frustrated me to no end about the Apple Watch is the lack of customizability on the watch faces. Developers can't create custom watch faces and distribute it. The watch faces are limited to a certain preset configuration that developers can then drop in widgets or complications, as Apple calls them. But they're basically just widgets for a watch face. And I don't like that, and I could never get a watch face to have the kind of information density that I wanted, or I couldn't get it to show the things I wanted it when I wanted it. A lot of them aren't dynamic, so unless you're using the Siri watch face, which changes depending on what it thinks you want, if you're not using that one, then you're stuck with things occupying space when they don't need to occupy space. I just don't think Apple takes very good advantage of the smart watch form factor. There's not much smart about it from a timekeeping perspective. In fact, it's kind of an awful watch. It's a really cool device. It's a great gadget, and if you're a runner in particular, it's incredible, right? It's a great fitness tracker. It's great for monitoring certain heart conditions or things like that. And now with the pulse oximeter, which is not accurate, by the way, those could have benefits, but it also could have some pretty significant drawbacks, because while the heart rate, the ECG, is fairly accurate. The oximeter is not. So it can be great for health tracking, but I personally am not a super active person. I should be, but I'm not. And it doesn't look like that's going to change dramatically anytime soon. So this, for me, or, not like this is an advertisement for a particular watch, but a more traditional watch is better for my lifestyle. And I think that given the price of Apple Watches, that might be the case for other people too, especially because Casio in particular is starting to make some watches that have some limited smartwatch features, but in the body of a traditional watch, with the battery life of a traditional watch, using a Bluetooth link. One of the things I really loved about the Apple Watch is the fact that it was an extension of your phone. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about that is if you misplaced your phone somewhere, you could tap a button and it would ping the phone, it would make a noise, and you could find it. I was hesitant to get a different watch because I would miss that feature, but this watch can actually do that. If I long press one of these buttons, it will initiate a Bluetooth link to my phone and it'll set off a ringtone, which is pretty cool. And if you happen to lose your phone at home and you're in a hurry to leave, this has happened to me, you just do the button combination. It takes like 10 seconds and your phone will start ringing. It's not as immediate, it's not as responsive as the Apple Watch, but it works. It's better than nothing. I think despite all the pros or cons of the Apple Watch, whatever you think about it, the feeling that I really got when I was using my Apple Watch that I just really didn't like is I felt like a beta tester. I just felt like I was using an immature software platform on a beta hardware. It just didn't feel refined, it didn't feel complete, and I really disliked that. I feel like when I'm wearing this watch, it's a gshock. They've been around, they know what they're doing. I know this thing's not going to quit on me because I've had multiple G-Shocks. They're all still running, and this just has more modern technology in it. So if you're thinking about getting an Apple Watch, maybe consider, why do you want it? Do you want it just because it looks cool? Do you want it because it's an extension of the Apple ecosystem? Are you willing to live without some of those benefits that you get from being in that ecosystem in order to have some of the benefits of being outside of it? And now with the watches that can have certain smartwatch features like this one, you might end up getting a better deal by going with something else. Now, if you're interested in this watch in particular, like I said, it's a G-Shock GWB5600. So if you found any of this stuff helpful, be sure to leave a like. It helps out the channel a lot. And subscribe if you like these videos, because I'll be making more of them. 99% of you are not subscribed. Do it.